Hi everyone, I'm Beth from Beth Bikes. And today I'm going to be doing a ride recap about the second social ride of 30 Days of Biking 2022. For me, the second social ride of 2022 was a pastry ride out of Perennial Cycle. So first I want to tell you a little bit about what are pastry rides. So a pastry ride is just like what it sounds like. It involves pastries and bicycle riding. So what happens is we meet at Perennial Cycle, we roll out, and it is a slow roll family social ride. So this is geared towards people with little kids, and we roll anywhere from about 4 to 6 miles, so no more than 12 miles round trip. Again, it's a slow roll, so about 5 to 10 miles per hour. At the halfway point, we eat pastries. It's about 12 miles, very slow social pace, and you eat pastries. So these rides are out of Perennial Cycle, which is a bike shop in South Minneapolis. I have been going to pastry rides since we think 2016 or maybe earlier than that. But I've known Luke, the owner of Perennial, for a long time, since I started doing pastry rides. So today's pastry ride. It is April 2nd, 2022, so the second day of 30 Days of Biking. And pastry rides are on Saturday mornings, so it was a Saturday morning. The rides meet at 9 o'clock and then roll out at 9:30. This pastry ride and all of the pastry rides in 2022 I have been hired as the photographer for. So I wanted to get to this first pastry ride a little bit early so that I had time to talk with Luke and make sure that I was all ready to go to take pictures for this pastry ride. So my dad and I get up and we leave about 7:30. It's about an 11 or 12 mile ride from our house to Perennial Cycle. So we take Western Parkway and the Greenway to get there. So we get there and it's about 8:40. So not quite the 8:30 I was hoping for, but still plenty of time. We were the first 2 riders to roll up, and then quickly after that, a couple of other marshals showed up. So this is a ride that's marshaled, which means that there's a marshal at the front of the ride, making sure we know where we're going, a marshal at the end sweeping, making sure everyone is with us, and then marshals in the middle stopping traffic and making sure everyone gets through intersections safely. So there were some marshals there, and my dad and I roll up, and I'm ready to do photography. And my dad had not signed up to be a marshal, but then got roped in. He's done marshalling before for these pastry rides, and so he knows what he's doing, and so he got roped in to be a marshal. And so we're standing around talking, and I'm starting to take pictures. And as people are rolling in, I'm taking pictures, and 9 o'clock rolls around and a lot more people start showing up. And then at about 9:30 we did our announcements. Just like with the 30 Days of Biking kickoff ride, there are announcements to make sure that everybody stays safe. If you haven't watched the 30 Days of Biking kickoff ride, I will leave the link to that video in the description box below.
We really appreciate all of you coming and joining us. I wanted to give a big shout out to Bun and Isles. That's where our pastries are coming from today. We're gonna have puppy tails from Bun and Isles. We also have another sponsor today, Turn Bicycle.
So we've got our announcements. Luke says thank you to everyone, tells a little bit about what 30 Days of Biking is, and then it's time for us to get a group picture before we all roll out. So I organize everybody and I stand up on a ladder and I get a couple of pictures, and then we start to line up and we start rolling out. And this is again a really slow roll. From Perennial Cycle, we go up Humboldt. We had to stop at a stoplight and then got all back together. Take the Greenway to Nicollet. And then we skirt our way a little bit through downtown to get to the Minneapolis Convention Center, as that was our final destination today. We get to the convention center and there's actually a little park and patio right across from the convention center where we were stopping. And so this was a little bit more than 4 miles in length. So we got there and people are rolling in, and there are just bikes everywhere. So there were about 60 people on this ride, and so people are just kind of putting their bikes where they can. Some people are locking up and some people aren't. We're all standing near the bikes. So it wasn't a big concern about people taking bikes. And so then things get set up and we had pastries. We had our pastries for this ride were puppy tails from Bun and Isle, which is a pastry shop in South Minneapolis, and their puppy tails are very good. We've had them before on a pastry ride. And so we get all set up and we have someone actually handing out the pastries to each person. So each person gets their pastry and we just stand around and chat and enjoy our pastries and the sunny weather. It was sunny as we were standing on this deck. Again, there was a raffle prize just like in the 30 Days of Biking kickoff ride. So everyone had put their name in a jar, and we shook the jar up and we started drawing names for the raffle. And as the photographer, I continued to get pictures as people were talking and of people as they were winning their prizes. And so we got all of those pictures. And then at about 11:15, my dad and I led a group a slow roll back to the shop, the exact same route that we had taken to get to the convention center. So not always will people roll back with us. It's always you ride with us from the shop to wherever we're getting pastries or having our pastries. And then it is optional if you want to roll back on your own, if you just want to go home. Some people will ride to the shop, and then when we get to the end and they've eaten their pastries, they just ride home. Or some people will park a car near the end and they'll get in their car and drive home. Some people were actually staying at the convention center for the e-bike convention, which was happening at the convention center. So my dad and I led a slow roll back to Perennial Cycle. We got back there and everyone went on their way. And then we rolled back home. Instead of taking the Greenway to Western Parkway, we decided to take Bryant to the Loring Greenway and then went through downtown Minneapolis to get back home. We ended the day with about 30 miles and we started about 7:15 and got back a little bit after noon. Second social ride of 2022, and that was our pastry ride for day 2 of 30 Days of Biking. I hope you enjoyed hearing about this pastry ride. If you have any interest in joining a pastry ride, I will leave a link in the description to the Perennial Cycle Facebook page. That's where pastry ride information gets put. If you like this video, make sure you give it a like and subscribe. Until next time, I'm Beth. See ya!